I'll let you know. I think we're actually we're ticking. The clock is ticking now, and it's saying setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. So it may be happening right now in this very moment.
This may be happening.
I think we're on, Ramona.
We're on.
We are on. I think we may have been on for 2 minutes.
Well, we've been on for 2 minutes. Y'all get to see the behind the scenes. You can't get this anywhere else.
Nope. See, this is the Mr. Facebook Live, and I don't know if I'll ever figure out exactly what is going on, but that's okay. Welcome everyone to our Color Bold Spotlight of February with Ramona Hallmon from Ramonavation. Just want to give a quick introduction to what this is. My name is Mia Jung, and I work with Extension, which is both for Outagamie and Winnebago counties through UW-Madison Division of Extension. And I focus on economic development, specifically with entrepreneurs of color in our region, and specifically with the Color Bold Business Association. And we're doing these monthly Color Bold Spotlights, usually the last Tuesday or the third Tuesday of the month. And the idea here is to have our Color Bold business owners sharing their business stories, their strategies, tips, and tricks. This is a highly interactive experience, so please use the comment box to ask any questions to Ramona when we're chit-chatting here. So it is my honor to introduce to you Ramona Hallmon of Ramonavation. Ramona is a pastor, motivational speaker, teacher, life coach, leader, and business consultant. Ramona is a very dedicated Color Bold core committee member. She's actually the vice president. She specializes in results with over 20 years of industry experience in high volume environments for Fortune 500 companies. She's no stranger to hard work, dedication, and executing at the highest levels to obtain successful results. Her vision is to see the holistic growth of people by providing direction and guidance to have an overall successful, happier, and fulfilled life. In addition, she coaches purpose-driven, high-achieving executives, entrepreneurs, and experts on how to take their business and teams to the next level. She's definitely a really, really important asset to our Color Bold team. Everything she touches, she expects to turn to gold. She's impacting the world, mind, body, and soul. How are you doing today, Ramona? Did I miss anything to that?
You didn't miss anything. It's so amazing when you hear someone speak of you. It's so funny. I'm so used to motivating other people and speaking up other people that when I hear my things about myself, it's like, whoa. So thank you for that beautiful introduction. And of course, with everything, if you want to get to know more about me, and I know that it's in the information, you please feel free to check out my website, ramonavation.com. And then of course you can follow me on the social media. Any social media platform is Ramonavation. So that is.
I will post it in the comment box there, Ramona, for sure.
Thank you.
So in the introduction, you are wearing many hats, a lot of entrepreneurs that I speak to. We will zoom in on your business today, how it got started, your vision for the future, any words of advice to any business owners out there or any prospective business owners out there. First, could you just tell us about how you got your business started, Ramona?
So how I got my business started, because a lot of times people are like, what is Ramonavation and what do you do? And ultimately, the goal and what I really do in Ramonavation is I love to help people really evolve into the best version of themselves. And so when I got started, so this is probably going to be funny, I got started because somebody made me mad. This is not saying this is the way to start a business because someone makes you mad, but what happened, it was the emotion that hit. I was angry with what they said. And so let me tell you what happened. So
I want to hear.
So you want to hear. So y'all want to hear.
I want to
hear. Most of my life and a lot of my experience, I have been in a corporate setting. And so when I look at my business has really been evolving as running on a separate track as I've been also running on the corporate track. And so I was in the corporate world, and I would say it's about almost 12 years ago now. I was talking to an executive, and we were talking about how to impact the business. What are some of the things we need to do to impact this business and in this industry? and we began to spitball, and we were talking about different things. And I mentioned people because as far back as I can remember, I've always had a passion for people, for their growth, for their safety. It was just like I always, my
Oh, are you
mirror.
okay?
Yes, my mirror fell.
Do you need to grab some ice?
No, it just slid down behind me on the shelf.
Oh my goodness. I hope that was not planned, Ramona. It seemed a little bit
That was
risky there.
not, that was not planned. That is all the way. Can y'all still see me? That was not at all.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Safer props next time, okay?
I gotta do something with props. Y'all don't mind what's going on in the background. So the mirror just fell. I'm okay. We can keep talking. So
Okay, you let me know if you need to do something, okay?
oh no, it fell behind the chair. So it's fine.
Okay, good,
So
good.
okay. All right. Back to focus. Okay, so here's the thing, people. When you do things live, you just keep pushing.
That's a
So
good lesson.
I was looking at how I was talking about people, but I always loved people, always had a passion for people. And so what happened was they had said, you know what, we need to look at growing the business and doing things in the industry besides people. People are too hard to you quantify. And so that's not the most important thing. And so that frustrated me because I'm like, I talked about how people were being promoted when people are really invested in. And so it was heartbreaking to me. And so I said, okay, if in this corporate setting, people are somewhat important, but not all the way important, I was frustrated and angry because I was like, then who takes care of people? Who really pours into people? And so I began to really just do my own thing, meaning I would have people that I would be talking to, people that I would be encouraging, people I would be helping. And so that really, it became a part of me. So Ramonavation is me. And so what was crazy is when I started, I really didn't look at myself as a business. And I do air quotes because what I saw as business being in the corporate space, I had a different viewpoint of what business was. And so I never really thought of my passion and just my love for people really being a business. And so all I did was I would say, okay, I talked to my family and I was like, I'm just going to come up with a name for me. And it was like, and it came out Ramonavation. We had like a family vote on it. And so it was like, how do I package myself as a business? And so because I didn't see myself in the traditional setting of a business, I just say, when people say, well, what is Ramonavation? I would say Ramonavation is me. That I know that's kind of like, I say it's kind of weird, and I say it's weird because it was so unique to me because I didn't really see it in the arena that I ran in the spaces that I was in. I didn't see where people were just doing what they loved and called themselves an actual business.
Interesting. And how, has that changed for you at all? And I guess I want to know, when did you get Ramonavation started?
So when I actually was like official, so like I said, I was kind of running in this space of like Ramonavation. I had the name, but I really wasn't doing anything to say it was a business. My husband, well, we were dating, we got married. And when we got married, my husband was talking to me about it. And he was like, look, you know what? We're about to make you a business. And so I'm like, okay, all right. So he was taking the components and saying, okay, we're going to go do the paperwork and make it official. And so when I think about that, and I love to tell business owners and people who are in careers that this is why it's important that you have other people around you, because I can see you, I can see business in you, I can see potential in you, but I have blind spots. And so this is why, the reason I know I have blind spots and I have areas of opportunity, it's good to have that because it shows me that I need other people. And so when my husband came on the scene, he could see things that I couldn't see. And so it's something beautiful about partnerships and having people around you who can see you even greater than you can possibly sometimes even see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it have been about, so it's been about 10 years where I actually officially became Ramonavation.
Gotcha. Wow. I love that you're talking about your people. I think that's such an important aspect. And I think that is what Color Bold is founded on. It really is people, and that really strong network of business owners. How would you say you mentioned your husband, you mentioned your family, so that leads us to the question how you got business support when you got started.
So when I got started, and so of course, looking at my business, and now when you say, okay, what is it when it's like, what do you specifically do? So I motivate, I inspire, I encourage, and really I coach people to becoming the best versions of themselves, and organizations to be the best version of themselves. And so in doing that, it was like, so when you say about help and looking at really kind of what support would look like in a role for me, when someone says, what does support me? I've always had training sessions, and I would teach leaders and managers and teams to say, you have to really be able to define the word support and what does support looks like to you. Because if I just say, Mia, I need your support, and you say, yep, you got it, what does that look like? And so having my family around me, my family has always been hearts and hands that always encourage and motivate me and inspire me. My mom, my sister, my brother, my dad, and my husband. My husband has been really the support. When I need support, it's like who's holding me up and who's pushing me forward. And so my family does that and has done that. And so when I look at support, when it comes to who's rah-rahing my business and giving me those type of like pushing support, I'm going to tell you, it's probably not the norm, but I sat and I told myself the self-fulfilling prophecy, who would want to invest in my business when I'm just saying my business is a business of me? And so I had this thought process of how can someone really help me in a way? And so sometimes I would even look at like I didn't really go and ask for help or was seeking a bunch of help. And then when I got past that mindset, what happened was I began to see that in different arenas and different spaces that I was invited into, a lot of people wanted to help me. And so as they helped me in a part of the business, I also am a certified Zumba instructor. So I'm a licensed Zumba instructor. And so
I told you need to give me a tutorial.
And so in that's how come I was able to kind of move quickly when the mirror fell. I just didn't want it to break. So the movement. And so I had people around me who were supporting me by putting my name in other rooms that I didn't even have privy to. And so when it looks like of who helped and where support came from the love and the encouragement of my family, from the pushing and seeing a vision far greater, my husband, and then people that has just been around me has kind of put their arms around to try to put me in rooms, like I said, that I wouldn't have had access to.
That's really interesting. So are you speaking to like how you get clients, for example? Is that through mostly your own network and having those strong relationships?
So yes, and so what's so amazing is like when I started and it's like, okay, you're coaching and you're talking and doing these things, it has been a lot of word of mouth of me talking with people and then letting people know what I do, because it's so much. And I have to kind of break this down without going too far down the rabbit hole of it's so many things that I have learned over the course of my life, through my career, through arenas that I've been in, that I have packaged because of great talent, gift, and a lot of time spent, I can package things in content form. So a lot of things you may have ideas and those different things, I can package those. And so from my different experiences of being in sales, being in corporate America as learning and development, being able to see what it's like to grow a corporate building from the ground up, being able to see all of these components, I'm able to say, okay, I can package this. And so being in these arenas, being able to talk to people and saying, this is what I can do, has opened up the door of like, okay, can you have a conversation with me? And so it's been a lot of organic. And then it has been as I meet people that they continually share.
So is it everything from kind of coaching sessions, Ramona, to like bigger projects like strategic planning, that kind of thing? Is that kind of where you're getting at?
So yes, so when I look at it, and to break it down even in this space, there's an individual side of coaching of where, like you said, it's like that. It's a small kind of that one-on-one saying,
Mm-hmm.
where are you wanting to go? How are you trying to impact your team? What is it that you're trying to do in business or even in your spiritual and personal life? And being able to help coach you along and giving you resources to say, this is how you can get there. And then just being able to be a springboard, right? And then on the other side of my business, because I've been in corporate spaces and I'm accustomed to leading teams that I ran teams over 300 people. And so being able to say, okay, if you're looking to do something for your business and for your team and being able to break down something. So if you're like trying to teach your people how to sell, teach your people how to do things in your business, I can come in and cultivate and build up things for you specifically for your team and what the vision that you have.
That's amazing. Do you feel like there's a huge do you have like the same approach, depending on if it's an individual or if it's a group, a corporation, or do you feel like it's like you're it and you have the same kind of message or approach or
That's a great question, because what I truly believe in my heart at my core is I like to unlock what is in the person or in the team. This is so unique. So foundational things will be the same. You'll have things where if you're talking about, oh, I want to build a team, there's foundational pillars that you can pretty much plug and play, right? But when you are looking at your own vision and what you need to do, what I can do is I take your conversation and we look at some things and now I tailor it and I cultivate it to hitting the vision and the marks of where you're trying to take your team or the corporation. Because what happens is I've been in different industries, and yes, the foundational pieces stay the same, but if you try to run the exact play over and over and everybody's doing the same thing, it gets stale and it's not motivating your team. And so with a team, it comes so much because there's so many personalities, so many different things that can come into play, but we do something that's unique to you. So it shouldn't be somewhere that you'll find the exact same thing.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, in terms of business support that may be a little bit more formal, like banks or any kind of business chamber or anything like that, or a business coach, have you felt supported from those types of institutions? I know some business owners of color in predominantly white communities don't always feel supported from those types of institutions. How's that been for you, Ramona?
So for is with me, for the spaces, like when you say like the different organizations and getting support because of being in a predominantly Caucasian area.
Right.
On this side, I got to tell y'all this, first and foremost, the industry experience that I have been either the only woman sometimes in the room and then sometimes I've only been the only woman of color in the room because I have been in industries that has been a male dominated space, a Caucasian male dominated space. And so when it comes to being able to gain access and get resources, I'm so thankful to God that he's giving me, I guess like a strong will and being able to not back down and say, if I have this question, I'm going to ask this question. If I need this resource, I'll ask for that resource. But I have found that it is harder to get that because people aren't willing to share with you. So that's the part that has been the challenge. It's like, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And so a lot of times you'll go into a space and be like, okay, I'm looking for this resources for grants, or I'm looking for this resources for some type of help. And then it's like, oh, well, you can go here, or that's already passed. And it's like, but you wouldn't share that information with me unless I ask specific questions, which I gained a lot of that in sales, of knowing what questions to ask and who I need to be talking to.
Drill down to the core of.
Drill down.
Be
Yes.
your own detective.
Yes, you got to be a detective.
Because we are on that note, Ramona, do you feel like the Color Bowl Business Association can help kind of close some of those gaps potentially as we're working to?
Yes, I honestly believe so, Mia, because I talked to other business owners and of color, and being in this space of like, I don't know what I don't know, or I'm looking for someone else to at least give me some type of insight and some type of help. And I think that that's what I'm looking forward to for Color Bowl, being able to be this space of where it's not this big top secret stuff. We're not in, people in business, you're in competition, you have your type of competition. But here's the thing, if it's something that's out there for everyone, guess what? Here it is for everyone. And we're going to make it easy. I'm looking forward to a space of making it easy for people of color, businesses of color, to be able to get access without having to ask all of those questions.
That's really great. And I got to say that perspective is so important, Ramona. I feel like I'm just, from a very selfish standpoint, just so glad that you're on our core team. Like you're just bringing so much vision and drive to move our association forward. So, Ramona, this pandemic hit last year. Don't know if you remember that. Anyways, I gotta ask business owners, because we know a lot of small business owners especially have suffered through the pandemic with, having to close, open, all that. I understand you may not have a storefront or anything like that, but did you have to do some things differently, or what were some things that you experienced during the last year, or even still now, that has kind of changed the way you've done business?
So with this this whole shift, because I look at how COVID has shifted, like truly, like you said, how we do business. And so I look at it of where I was still in corporate America when it broke out, right? And then as it broke out, I ended up being furloughed, and then I was let go because of restructure from my corporate job. And so when I look at my business, I had to go to a war room, to the room of strategy. And when that shift happened, my husband basically sat me down and was like, it's okay. Glad this has happened for you, because now you can really focus on what it is that you want to do and how you want to take your business to the next level. And then so looking at COVID and how it hit, like the not being in the personal space, because I love connecting one-on-one with people. I love being in the big crowds and being able to impact people. And so this shift says, okay, well, wait a minute, you're going to have to do some things different. And because what I do in my business on that personal side of coaching, when you're looking at life and how life is impacting people, depression is up. It's so many things that's impacting people mentally, physically, with how we had to shift. So in my business, I have my goals and I have my vision. This added a level or a layer that it wasn't on my horizon. And it was something to really on how I need to be able to make and create an environment for where, if you cannot connect, to be able to give you things that make it feel like you are connecting. So I had to do some shifting and getting things together so that I can have the touch. People can have the touch without the physical piece. If that makes any sense.
Well, it does. And I complimented you before this session, Ramona, because I watched one of your webinars that you did with your husband for your ministry with the Sauk County Health Department, Public Health Department. And I noticed how amazing the interface was with the audience, and that you were able to engage so well with the audience, with the speakers. And I'm like, wow, you got to give me a tutorial at some point. Like, are those the kind of things you're thinking of in terms of like creating that space that feels welcoming, where you can kind of connect with people, even though you're
Yes.
not in the same room?
Yes, and with this whole shift, along with looking at how we do business or how we impact, because another part, so when we look at Ramonavation, like you mentioned, FaithWorks Ministries, I get to the privilege to co-pastor with my amazing husband. And so in this space, we had to say, okay, if we're not meeting a body of people in a congregation, we had to learn technology. We had to look at different systems. We had to look at different platforms that will be able to, like you said, we had different people on the screen so that we'll be able to host events. But then also in this space, it also taught us to go beyond your four walls. Because I honestly believe and feel, if you have a business, no matter what type of business you are doing, if you are sitting and waiting for everything to lift and everything to go back to normal so that you can do exactly what you were doing before the pandemic, that's a problem. And the reason I say that's a problem is because in this space, we had to see that we're not going to be able to do this thing called life the exact same way. So what do you do? How do you impact people who have different feelings and different thoughts? And so being able to use the technology and the platforms, looking at different systems, being able to go beyond the four walls of saying, you know what, before we dealt with this core group, but now when we was talking with the Sauk County Public Health, we were dealing with the community, so the community here in which I live, and then we were dealing with the county. But if we were in our little building before the pandemic, it would have just been a little building event. But it turned out to be a county, and then even going outside of the state because of viewers watching across the land.
Right, right. And that's so interesting. I mean, the fact that holding on to the past in a way that may not be productive for your business or anything you do, really, and just like, okay, move forward into the future with more knowledge and more platforms to get your message out, I think is really powerful to kind of, for everyone to just bring with them. We do have a question here in the chat box, Ramona. Your sister, Kimyada, how do you coach an individual for their personal life? Is it for women or anyone?
Okay, so for my coaching, okay, my sister would ask this question. My core group are women, and however, in coaching, because of the crossing of corporate America and then my regular day-to-day, I have coached men and women. And so at the core of my organization, it was, I coach women more. And so, however, that doesn't mean that I do not coach men. And so it is open for everyone, but at the core, like I said, it's more women that I do coach on the personal side. And so, okay, so now I got to say this. When it comes to that personal side, I coach more women. When I get into that corporate space, it has been more men.
Gotcha. Okay, that helps. That clarifies things.
But it doesn't mean that I cannot go.
I'm sure you're able to pivot and tend to different audiences, Ramona. I think a lot of times these things come down to, who you attract is by being you. If you're really like, you are your brand and you are your, what your business are, right? So then you may attract folks from the same gender, maybe same race, or, I've seen that quite a bit. So what is on the horizon for Ramonavation? Where do you see yourself in about 5 years, you think?
So in about 5 years, that's a good question, Mia. I am really looking at doing more coaching with small business owners, and really being able to help small businesses really with thought, structure, systems of kind of what corporate America looks like. And I say that because a lot of times the small businesses The things that major corporations are doing seem so huge, right? Mm-hmm. And so being able to talk to that and coach to that, to say, even though what you may be thinking about or in your mind may seem huge because it's something that the big corporate worlds may be doing, I want to be able to help the small businesses be able to wrap their arms around and get to this space of where it can be tangible, to have your big ideas of how corporate America may be running and this and that, and saying, how do we bring that to you, right? And how does that fit, and what components do you need for your business? So with Ramonavation on the horizon, I'm gonna have more of that and more seminars and sessions to be able to really help those small businesses when it comes to bringing that particular thing into their organization, things that corporate America does. Also, I'm really looking at, it's been a project and it's been really in, I say, the incubative stages right now, and I'm developing a nice virtual and physical really environment to help more women of color, women in rural areas, women of diverse backgrounds, really in creating a space of where it's a safe space of where they're able to get refreshed. Everything that I do and everything that I touch, I want it to bring life, right? And so with everything that has been happening over since last year with COVID, I had spoke earlier about like depression. It's so many things that is bogging down people. And so the numbers are very high and still yet rising in women of color, women in rural areas, women of diverse backgrounds. Depression is hitting hard because it's like there is almost like it's no sunshine to them. And this is what's happening. And so being able to bring a component of my business to be able to say, creating this environment for women to come to or have access to that is going to give life to them, and to be able to say, you know what, here's the resources, here are the rooms, here's the, I love circles. And what I mean by circles is being in a network of people who can encourage you and lift you up. And so it's a nice piece that has been added to my business, that as I'm building it out, because it really, COVID shifted me into looking at this and digging deeper. So in the next 5 years, I would love to see my buildings and different things that for women, to be able to help women, and then also the part to help small business owners.
That is really kind of core in your business, though, with that holistic look at people. And so it sounds like through COVID, it just kind of, it almost brought that more to the forefront, really seeing the full person. And you're saying, I mean, the mental health, the struggle, you know, just all of the difficult things and the deaths, obviously, of what's happened the last year. That's thanks for sharing that, Ramona. I think that's a huge need in our community. Is there anything else you would like to add right now, Ramona? We're getting close to our half an hour mark, or we are at our half an hour mark. Not that I'm ticking, the clock is not ticking. We can still take a couple minutes.
No, I just have a few words I can give. You know me, I'll say as we talk.
And then we will open up for another question too.
Okay.
After that. Yeah.
After that, so when I speak about the holistic growth and development of women with the part of the vision of being able to be that safe place to give that virtual and physical environment, during this time, I also created a vlogvotional. And so you may be like, what's a vlogvotional? So if you go to my website, and on my website, you can go to the store. I created this vlogvotional, and the vlogvotional is really a video and like a daily devotional. It's a 7-day vlogvotional. So in this vlogvotional, when I think about what is needed right now, this I created more so to impact the holistic being, right? Of being able to say, TLC, take, you know, that tender loving care for yourself, mind, body, and soul. And in this vlogvotional, you're able to go through the 7-day journey of really being able to look at information, really do some self-reflecting. You'll be able to see a video of me to encourage you through your journey. And so if you, that is the part where it's like, as I'm building out the part of saying, creating this space for women to come in, or for, as I'm looking at that component, here is that a placeholder in a sense to be able to have you get the encouragement that you need even right now. And so when I think about holistically, and what I love to tell people is that you should always be looking at your professional and your personal development. You should always be examining that. You should always have that on the board and be paying attention to it, because no matter if you're doing business, in a career, whatever you're doing, if you are not always holding up the lens of saying, okay, my personal and professional development, you're going to be drying up. And so you want to stay full, because we pour out, and we pour out on jobs, we pour out in our businesses, we pour out in our families. And if you don't have anything that's pouring into you, you go dry, right? And so that you can continually stay full, I would say get yourself a coach or a mentor, someone that can challenge you and hold you accountable. Because I think in this time, a lot of us feel like we're by ourselves. And so some things you may be physically by yourself, but you don't have to do life by yourself. So you may, so looking at that component of having someone who can coach you, encourage you, you can reach out to me, right? And then I always say, remain a student. If you remain a student, that you're always reading, pouring into yourself, forever learning. And then, because if you're not learning, you're not evolving. And if you're not evolving, you can become obsolete.
Hey, those are some really good last parting words there, Ramona. Although we do have, sorry, now I don't know why I kept my phone on ring. I'm so sorry. You gotta deal with those interruptions, right? A mirror getting onto your head.
The mirror falling. I'm like, y'all, if anybody, y'all just joining in, if you see the beginning, the mirror just said, I don't even want to be a part of this reason.
The mirror's like, I want some attention. Okay. We got one more question before. Do you have time for another question, Ramona?
Yes, I do.
All right. We got another from Kim Yara here. What's an example of the systems you would be able to help my small business do?
So when it comes to systems, a lot of times when it comes to small businesses, it comes to the systems of kind of maybe your POS, your point of sales. You may have systems of where it is how you recruit people. You may need systems on how you develop your people. You may need to have systems on if you are, let's say, a restaurant, being able to track how much food is being wasted, or how much you're selling. It's so many different systems, because of my experience of being in retail, in sales, in the food industry, being able to look at what you need. So even your flow of service, or even how you keep track of your expenses. It's so many different systems that you would need to put into place. And so sometimes it can be done via like different spreadsheets. Sometimes you can go out and actually get physical computer systems to do things. And so we talk about that because a lot of times we try to be everything as business owners. And so, yes, we know, like, as we are building, and it's some things that we just have to hold on to maintain until we get to a place. But it's some things in your business that you're going to have to say, I need someone who specializes in this. And so being able to talk through what systems you need, and then which way to go with those systems.
Thank you so much, Ramona. It's been so fun to talk to you. Just on my own notes, I've just been really glad and honored to learn more about your business. And I really hope more people will tune in, even if they weren't able to join right in the moment, to tune into this video, because you really have been sharing a lot and so much valuable insights. All right, well, Ramona, this has been a pleasure. And please join us for our next spotlight next month.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.